On a quiet winter night, Emily, a 22-year-old college student, was driving along Highway 90 in the state of Montana. She was returning to her campus dorm after a short visit to her family in a nearby town. It was almost 11:45 p.m., and the roads were nearly deserted. Fog crept over the asphalt, wrapping the world in a cold, damp shroud. Visibility dropped rapidly. The only sound was the rhythmic squeak of the windshield wipers and the soft classical music playing from the car stereo. Emily, who had always enjoyed night driving, felt strangely at peace in the solitude of the highway. She wasn't scared. In fact, she found comfort in the isolation. But she wasn't alone. Suddenly, in the rearview mirror, Emily saw headlights quickly approaching. A massive black semi-truck emerged from the fog like a mechanical beast, drawing dangerously close to her bumper. Startled, she assumed the driver was in a hurry, so she signaled for him to pass. But he didn't. Instead, he started flashing his high beams, once, twice, again, blindingly bright. Then something even stranger. The truck driver began waving at her from his window. And he smiled. A wide, unnatural smile. Not one of friendliness, but of something else, something that knew something terrible she didn't. Emily's heart began to race. She pressed the accelerator, trying to get away. But the truck followed, staying on her tail. Again, the driver flashed the high beams, stronger this time, rapid bursts of light. She couldn't understand. Was he insane? Was he trying to attack her? Was this a road rage situation? Panicked, she grabbed her phone and called 911. "Hi, I'm a woman driving alone on Highway 90. There's a truck tailing me, flashing its lights, waving, and he's smiling in this weird, terrifying way. I think I'm in danger." The dispatcher replied, "Do not stop. Stay on the line. We're sending a patrol to your location." Minutes passed like hours. Finally, flashing blue and red lights appeared on the horizon. A police car. Emily pulled over in relief, trembling. The truck stopped directly behind her. Suddenly, the driver leapt out and rushed to the police, shouting frantically, "Open her back seat. There's someone inside her car. I saw him when I flashed the lights. He's holding a knife." The officers acted immediately. One approached Emily's car, opened the back door. And there, beneath a blanket, was a man. Disheveled. Wild-eyed. Clutching a large kitchen knife. He had been hiding behind her the whole time. Emily screamed. After the arrest, the police discovered that the man hiding in her car was a fugitive wanted for a brutal murder in another state. He had snuck into her vehicle unnoticed while she stopped at a remote gas station an hour earlier. He had planned to rob her, or worse. The smiling driver turned out to be a long-haul trucker on his way to Denver. He had seen something moving in her back seat through his side mirrors. Each time he flashed his lights, he caught a glimpse of it. He wasn't trying to scare her. His odd smile was his desperate attempt to reassure her, or get her to notice. After the incident, Emily returned to campus, but she was never the same. She checked her car obsessively. She double-locked the doors. She inspected the back seat 10 times before sitting behind the wheel. But the nightmares began. She'd dream of driving down the same foggy road, but this time, the truck wasn't behind her. It was in front of her. And the driver wasn't smiling. He was crying blood. And when she looked in the rearview mirror, she saw no reflection. Then one day, about a month after the incident, she found a small envelope placed under her windshield wiper in the campus parking lot. Inside was a single folded note. "I was in the back seat once. Maybe I'll be in the front next time. Do you remember the smiling driver? Do you know who was watching whom?" Emily began to question everything. Who left the note? Was the killer truly alone that night? Or was the entire event a setup? She no longer trusted anyone. Not in people. Not in shadows. And certainly not in smiles. 1 year later, Emily disappeared. Her car was found parked beside Highway 90. The engine still warm. The headlights still on. The driver's door left ajar. On the back seat, a torn piece of cloth, and a small, dark stain. Beneath the steering wheel, a folded note. Did you check the mirror this time? Not every stranger means harm. But sometimes, the one who looks odd is the only one trying to save you. And never, ever forget. Check the back seat. It happened nearly 15 years ago, during one of those heavy, stagnant summer nights. New Braunfels, a small town in Texas, seemed to be frozen in time, a place where nothing ever truly changed. The air was thick with the heat of the day, and the streets were empty, save for the faint glow of old street lamps that barely illuminated anything at all. My friend Sarah and I were bored out of our minds. It was summer break, long, endless days blending into equally endless nights. There was nowhere to go, nothing to do. And as the clock neared midnight, we had a sudden idea. Why not go to the park? Maybe the fresh air would help, or at least give us a bit of adventure. The park wasn't far. It was a little sprawling, scattered trees, worn-out wooden benches, and a small lake on the far side reflecting the pale moonlight. Everything was still, eerily calm, as if the park itself were asleep. We sat there for nearly an hour, chatting, laughing, trying to fill the silence with our voices. Then, everything changed. From a distance, near one of the old picnic tables, we saw something, or someone. At first, we assumed it was just another person, maybe a drifter or someone stopping to rest. But what struck me as strange wasn't just the fact that someone else was in the park at that hour, but the way they were positioned. They weren't sitting on the bench. They were perched on the table itself, crouched like some kind of predator waiting in silence. Sarah started to get uneasy, but I couldn't look away. I kept staring, and that's when I saw them. Wings. Massive, dark wings unfurled from its back, wrapping around its form like a cloak made of shadow. The body looked human, at least mostly, but those wings weren't right. They were too large, too otherworldly. I thought maybe I was seeing things. A trick of the moonlight. But no, they were real. I know what I saw. Just as we tried to back away quietly, the moment that still haunts me happened. It let out a scream. A blood-curdling, soul-ripping scream. It didn't sound human. Not fully. It was almost like a woman being stabbed to death, but even that comparison falls short. It wasn't a sound that could come from any normal creature. Not a human, not an animal. It was the kind of scream you only hear in horror films, something demonic, otherworldly. Then, it stood. Suddenly. It rose up, and it had to be at least 8 feet tall. We ran. Faster than we ever had before. I ran until my lungs burned, then kept running. I ran until I couldn't breathe anymore, until I had to slow down because I was coughing so hard I thought I might pass out. We pounded on people's doors, begging for help, but all we got were threats. People shouting that they had guns and would shoot if we didn't leave. We were trapped outside. With it. I kept glancing at the sky, terrified that it might swoop down from above. It reminded me of the movie Jeepers Creepers. It felt like that kind of evil. After what felt like a lifetime, but was probably about 20 minutes, a police car finally showed up. Of course, they thought we were on drugs or just causing trouble. 2 officers, one white, one Mexican, listened to our story. The white officer looked annoyed. But the Mexican officer, he smirked, tried to play it off like we were making it up. Yet his expression betrayed him. His eyes said something else. It was the look of someone who knew. Someone who'd heard this kind of thing before, but didn't dare acknowledge it out loud. They drove Sarah home, but I walked the rest of the way on foot. It wasn't far, but every step felt like I was walking on the edge of some unseen nightmare. I kept glancing behind me, watching the rooftops, the trees, the shadows that moved without reason. Since that night, I've never been the same. I developed PTSD. I can't go out alone at night. Parks, forests, even certain sounds in horror films trigger something deep inside me. It's not people I fear. Not even animals. It's things like that. Things we aren't supposed to see. Things that don't belong to this world. And what's worse, is when the ones who know, the ones who wear a badge, lie through their teeth because they're afraid to admit what's out there. That was the night everything changed. The night I stopped believing we're alone. If you liked the channel, don't forget to share it with your friends. Your support makes all the difference.